I just woke up. I didn't just wake up. I've been up for a second, but I did just kind of wake up. And it was way too early because the sun's not even up. And instead of coming and reading and like doing what I normally do, I just was spiraling because a lot's been going on. And it's weird because sometimes when you sleep and you wake up, like your mind plays tricks on you. And you start thinking about things that you don't think about throughout the day just to protect yourself. Genesis 2. Thus, the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. And God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Now, we're going to go back to day 6 and blow it up a little bit and get intricate. That's what the rest of this chapter is. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were formed. When they were created. When the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, and no shrub of the field had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no man to work the ground, but streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground, the Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. And the Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. Hold on, give me a second, I gotta move this closer. From there it was separated into 4 headwaters. The name of the first is the Pishon. It winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of that land is good. Aromatic resin and onyx are also there. The name of the second river is the Gihon. It winds through the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is the Tigris. It runs along the east side of Asher. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will surely die." The Lord God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the beasts of the field and all the birds of the air. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds of the air, and all the beasts of the field. But for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh." The man and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. That's beautiful. I like Genesis 2. I think while I was reading it, it's interesting. A couple of things stood out to me. I like the part where it says that like God breathed the breath of life into man. It's so interesting because even as a kid, I always had that thought. I was like, what is life? Like animation? Like what are we? You know, the spark that starts the cells, that brings breath into the lungs, that makes us animate. There's no, it's really mysterious. And everybody's like, oh, it's just life. It's just the heart beating. It's just the spark that causes all that. I'm like, what causes all that? Like as a kid, I always wondered. So like this makes total sense to me, right? I'm like, when you just sit as like a child and you're thinking about what makes life tick and like why living things are living and dead things are dead, you're like, what is this thing that is causing them to be alive? What is that breath within us? Why are we animate? I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, just thinking about the spark that starts it. This God breathing the breath of life into man's nostrils, I don't know. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I'm like, where, what else? What else? There's no electricity up in that business, no double A's. Like, I don't know. So that always plagued me. Just knowing how things work. I don't know, being born in the late 80s, you have more of a grounded feel on what makes mechanics tick. I don't know. Yeah. And it's interesting because you gotta think those trees that were in the middle of the garden, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? They were there for a purpose and a time. They weren't just random, because nobody's eaten of the tree of life. Because I'm sure that tree's like gonna make you like probably live forever. I don't know. That's just something my brain was like picking at when I was thinking about this. And then also, when I think about Genesis 1 and how God was like there for Adam and like made everything first and then introduced man into the world, like you kind of see his character, like he cares, like he's there for you, like he's preparing things for you, and it matters, right? So you see his character. And so when he told him, he's like, what is it? You're free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat of it, you will surely die. I found it interesting that he didn't say that you shouldn't eat of the tree of life. There were 2 trees in the midst of that garden, bro. Like, why didn't you eat from the other tree, brother? Nobody brought that up. Like, that just came to my mind just now. Like, you could have eaten from the tree of life. What the frick is wrong with you? But they, okay, we'll get there. That's tomorrow. Like, what in the world? Like, what's your problem, bro? Like, all this, sorry. Oh, gosh. I think about all this stuff women gotta go through. Because freaking Eve. Okay. One job. And he said you could eat from any tree, brother. But then, like, sight set on that one tree. Like, okay, we'll get there tomorrow. Because that's going to piss me off. So, anyways, let's keep moving. So, I just, I really liked it. Unhinged morning time. Another thing that I also found really sweet was that God was like, where is it? He was like, it's not good for, verse 18. It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Right? That's verse 18. But then verse 19 goes in, and now the Lord had formed out of the ground all the beasts of the field and birds of the air, and he brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called all the living creatures, that was its name, right? So first he gave Adam a job, right? Which is really cool. He was like tending to the gardens or whatever, and like, naming the animals. He was like, that's a fish, and the fish was like, I'm a fish. And so like, at least with that, like, it was cool. But I found it interesting that God didn't give the man the helper. Like he said and decreed it wasn't good. God had the plan in motion. God was like, I know what I'm going to do. But then he allowed man to go through and like name all of these fish and all of these animals. And I'm sure the man was like, well, they have pairs. The frick. And the man was kind of like in this weird state of suffering where he's like seeing animals like, hook up or whatever and do all